Every day, dozens, hundreds, and more crimes are committed in almost any country. Such statistics are naturally not pleasing. We have what we have, namely, people with their inherent malice and cruelty or other characteristics who have been driven to commit a crime by one situation or another. Nonetheless, today we want to talk about a few criminals who were caught due to a minor detail. Let's begin. Criminals are often caught due to their penchant for souvenirs from the crime scene, but Anthony Garcia managed to outdo them all. He killed a person during a robbery at a wine shop and successfully evaded capture, leaving no clues or evidence for the police. His impunity lasted for 4 years until he was caught driving with expired licenses. They took photos of the offender at the scene, fined him, and let him go. Everything seemed fine until later, when one of the police officers familiar with the Einship robbery case was reviewing the snapshots from the incident. To his surprise, he discovered a tattoo on one of the photos that accurately depicted the crime scene, including the store sign and a note stating that a murder had been committed. If you've ever been in the same room with a cat, you know how clingy their fur can be. This was the downfall of David Hayter, who tried to cover up his friend's murder at the crime scene. Forensic experts found cat hairs. Incidentally, this became the first case in British history where cat DNA served as crucial evidence for proving the suspect's guilt. It remains only to advise recidivists to keep hairless cats to avoid getting caught on such trivial matters. The murder of Susan Rayner and the disappearance of her 2 children, Michael and Karen, aged 10 and 11, deeply shocked the residents, and it would have gone unpunished if not for one tiny detail: a green pin with the letter P that the girl acquired during an excursion and always wore for luck. This pin was discovered under the passenger seat of William S. Bradford, Jr., a school English teacher. Unfortunately, the court never found out the fate of the missing children, but thanks to this small detail and the testimony of a colleague, the killer was held accountable. In Cale, Columbia State, 2 men posed as customers at an internet cafe to later suddenly pull out a gun and rob the place. The accomplices executed the plan quite cleanly, but left no fingerprints, evidence, or images on surveillance cameras. However, one of the criminals, while killing time before the operation began, logged into his Facebook account and forgot to log out. His personal page was filled out so meticulously that it even included his home address. In the 1920s, Richard Lett and Nathan Leopold, youths from high society spoiled with parental money and obsessed with nihilistic theories of Nietzsche, decided to challenge society and prove that neither legal nor moral law had power over them, and they did it in a radical way by killing a young man. They meticulously planned the crime for 4 months and were sure they had securely hidden the body in a drain pipe near the railroad. They also decided to mislead the police and sent the deceased boy's parents a ransom letter. However, the current in the pipe turned out to be stronger than the criminals had thought, and in the morning, workers discovered the body. The arriving police found glasses at the crime scene, not ordinary ones, but quite expensive ones. Only a few of these had been sold in the city. Some of them aroused suspicion in Nathan, which was confirmed by an analysis of typewriters. The examination confirmed that the letter to the parents had been printed on Richard's typewriter. The gifted hacker Max Butler committed the largest credit card data theft of the late 20th century. He managed to connect to the American Express system and steal over 2 million sets of bank card data, which he resold to other criminals, earning over $86 million from this. Surprisingly, the newly wealthy hacker did not go all out, but decided that he had secured his future and started living a quiet life with his girlfriend. This continued for several years until a former accomplice of Butler, Jonathan John, fell into the hands of the FBI. Naturally, he didn't know the hacker's name or appearance, but remembered a fact from his biography. Butler boasted that he was one of the 2 main suspects in the case of hacking the popular game Half-Life 2. The suspects' names and data were, of course, preserved. Another example proving that one should never boast about criminal achievements in front of anyone is the case of Susan Schwartz, who was shot in her home. However, the police did not find any leads, so the case remained unsolved. But the girl's photo ended up in a prison experiment. The government printed decks of cards for inmates with information about victims of unsolved crimes, including phone numbers and promises of rewards. Schwartz's case, like many others, immediately gained traction. It turns out her killer was already in prison at the time for lesser crimes and had bragged to his cellmates about the misdeed he got away with. A fresh perspective is beneficial not only in prison experiments, Sometimes even an old case can be moved forward if you carefully examine the evidence. This was the case with the unsolved death of Jove and Martin in 1996. The guy sneaked out of the house to meet friends in the woods but never returned home. Joey was declared missing, but search operations yielded no body or clues. Two friends during interrogations insisted that Martin hadn't even gone into the woods with them but had gone for a walk alone. They were believed as there was no evidence against the boys. Only after 10 years, a young detective reread the case and discovered that in the testimony text, both youngsters describing their actions that night used the phrase, "we all," though there were only two of them. Upon reopening the case in 2008, one of the friends confessed to unintentional manslaughter, and later they were sentenced. Sometimes the universe itself seems to intervene in solving crimes. A young couple lost their daughter, Kuzov. She was abducted from the maternity hospital by a woman dressed as a nurse. It was assumed that it could be a mother who had lost her child during childbirth, but they couldn't find the kidnapper. However, the parents continued desperate searches and didn't give up even after several years when they had another daughter. The girl grew up, was transferred to a new school where she became friends with a girl from the graduating class 4 years older. All her school friends and even teachers said they looked incredibly alike. Cassidy told her parents about this, and when they found out that the new friend's birthday coincided with Zib's birthday, they managed, through the police, to get permission for a DNA test. They turned out to be close relatives, so thanks to this coincidence and inexplicable attraction, the sisters found each other. We hope you enjoyed these interesting cases. Share this video with your friends, and may any kind of criminal actions steer clear of you. At least that's what we wish for you. Be vigilant, ladies and gentlemen, and also subscribe to our channel. Give a thumbs up to this video, and wait for new videos because they are already on their way. See you soon.